Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Job, the 21st chapter. But Job answered and said, "Hear diligently my speech, and let this be your consolations." So if there's anything that you are going to, any consolation or any gift you can give me, let it be your silence and listen to what I have to say. Suffer me that I may speak. And after that I have spoken, mark on. So you just let me say what I have to say. Let me say my piece. And then after that, you can continue on ridiculing me. As for me, is my complaint to man? And if it were so, why should not my spirit be troubled? So am I complaining unto you? Am I complaining unto man? Am I not putting my case before God? And even if I was complaining to man, why shouldn't I be, stressed? Why shouldn't I be impatient? Why shouldn't my spirit be troubled? Mark me and be astonished, and lay your hand upon your mouth. So look upon me, right? When it says mark, and and be surprised and be quiet. Put your hand upon your mouth. Even when I remember, I am afraid. Referring to his situation, right? The predicament he is in. Whenever that thought comes back to his mind, as he says, he is afraid. And trembling taketh hold on my flesh. Wherefore do the wicked live, become old, yea, are mighty in power? How come, right? Why is it that the wicked, they get to live a full lives, become old, and have power? Their seed is established in their sight with them, and their offspring before their eyes. They're able to watch their children grow, okay, and see them established. Their houses are safe from fear, neither is the rod of God upon them. So Job is saying, this is what it feels like, right? Like the wicked, they get to flourish, right? I think there's a precept in Psalms that mentions I was envious at the wicked. Roughly paraphrasing, but as he's saying here, they don't have to worry about fear, of safety. And it seems like the judgment of the Lord or his correction is not upon them. Their bull gendereth, which means and faileth not, meaning like their bulls, mate, right? And you know what that means, right? Without failing, they don't fail to let's say populate. Their cows calveth, meaning to bear children, or not children, but calves, have offspring, and casteth not her calf, meaning they don't have miscarriages and so on and so forth, right? And this is just a poetic way of saying that they don't have to worry about like their money or their goods, which would be their bull, their cow, their cattle, flourishes. They send forth their little ones like a flock, and their children dance, all right, which is signifying the peace that they're in, right? Setting off, let's read that in the NLT, it says, they let their children frisk about like lambs, their little ones skip and dance. They take the timbrel and harp and rejoice at the sound of the organ. They spend their days in wealth, and in a moment go down to the grave. So they don't live hard. Like, it doesn't seem like they live hard lives, right? They do all this wickedness and then enjoy the wealth. And then when it's time to go, they die. They go down to the grave. Therefore, they say unto God, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. What is the Almighty that we should serve him? And what profit should we have if we pray unto him? And this is, as he's saying, this is the mindset of the wicked. And you can see how this fits Esau, right? And in terms of how they live and so on. You might look at it and even wonder, like, yo, why is it that, the majority of them, right, for so long, let me say, were in this position, right? It looks like they're, as the scriptures say, they're not in trouble as other men. So this is that faithless attitude that they have, right? Like, who is the Almighty? Who is the Most High that we should serve him, right? What are we going to gain, for praying on to him? Our lives were good. We get whatever we want. Lo, their good is not in their hand, right? Their flourishing, right, and their prosperity is not in their control. The counsel of the wicked is far from me. And he's saying here that that mindset that they carry is far from me. Okay, I don't think that way. How oft is the candle of the wicked put out? And how oft cometh their destruction upon them? God distributeth sorrows in his anger. And as it says here in the NLT, yet the light of the wicked never seems to be extinguished. Do they ever have trouble? Does God distribute sorrows to them in anger? They are as stubble before the wind, and as chaff that the storm carrieth away. Stubble is like that, meaning that eventually they're just gonna be, swept away, right? They're gonna be taken out of the earth like stubble. Stubble, which is like what's left on the threshing floor, right? After you thresh, the the sheaves, that the husk and stuff that's left, that is just like it's powerless when it's blown away by the wind. Okay, and like the chaff, which is also similar, that the storm carrieth away. Meaning, when the time of their end comes, they'll be powerless to stop it or do anything about it. Just like chaff and stubble are powerless before the wind, right? They can only just be blown away by it. God layeth up his iniquity for his children. He rewardeth him, and he shall know it. So it says here, in NKJV, they say God lays up one's iniquity for his children. Let him recompense him that he may know it. Okay, so the referring to that of the wicked, right, and the iniquity that has been reaped, as to how it would come upon them in their generations, right, even their children. But here, as we read in the NKJV, right, let him recompense him that he may know it. Okay, in the NLT it says, well, you say at least God will punish their children, but I say he should punish the ones who sin, so that they understand his judgment. Because here it is, they're going to do all this wickedness, and then boom, it's time to go. And then now their children pay. No, they got to feel it. His eyes shall see his destruction, and he shall drink of the wrath of the Almighty. For what pleasure hath he in his house after him, when the number of his months is cut off in the mist? Meaning, like, what does he care, right? NKJV, for what does he care about his household after him? He's lived his life. He's done his wickedness. He's gone. He's enjoyed those pleasures. He's gone. What happens next after him isn't going to affect him, right? It says here, for what does he care about his household after him, when the number of his months is cut in half? NLT, for they will not care what happens to their family after they are dead. Shall any teach God knowledge, seeing he judgeth those that are high? One dieth in his full strength, being wholly at ease and quiet. His breasts are full of milk. And this is referring to, like, once again, it's here saying you have some that die in their full strength, being wholly at ease and quiet, meaning they die wealthy, right? They're not in pain, they're not suffering. It's like this peaceful death. His breasts are full of milk, meaning he's nourished, he's good. His bones are moistened with marrow. And another, so this is like, on the one hand, you have somebody that has a peaceful death. They lived a life where they were good, they were healthy, they were nourished, they were all that. And then on the other hand, as it says, another dieth in the bitterness of his soul, and never eateth with pleasure. Right? So there's, you have one that goes to the grave in pain, suffering, and sorrow. As it says, doesn't eat with pleasure. They shall lie down alike in the dust. So both of them, regardless of the two ways in which they die or they live, they're all still gonna, as it says, lie down alike in the dust. They're all gonna die anyway. It's the same death, right? You're still, the spirit leaves your body breaks down in the earth, and that's that, right? And the worms shall cover them. That's the body breaking down in the earth. Behold, I know your thoughts, and the devices which ye wrongfully imagine against me. NLT or NKJV, Look, I know your thoughts and the schemes with which you would wrong me. NLT, look, I know what you're thinking. I know the schemes you plot against me. Remember that he's speaking to his friends, right? They're still having that dialogue of back and forth. For ye say, where is the house of the prince? And where are the dwelling places of the wicked? It's like saying, like, you know, I know what you're gonna say, right? I already know what you're gonna come back with. You're gonna be like, oh, well, you know, if the wicked are so prosperous, how come you don't see their houses anymore? Why don't you see their all those grandiose dwelling places that they have, right? Basically, as a testimony or a testament to how their latter end is still destruction. Have ye not asked them that go by the way, and do ye not know their tokens? So here it says, NLT, but ask those who have been around, and they will tell you the truth. NIV, have you never questioned those who travel? Have you paid no regard to their accounts? That the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction, they shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. Who shall declare his way to his face? And who shall repay him what he hath done? Right? So who's gonna, hold them accountable? Right? Who's gonna exact vengeance upon them? Yet shall he be brought to the grave and shall remain in the tomb. The clods of the valley shall be sweet unto him, and every man shall draw after him, and there are innumerable before him. NLT says a great funeral procession goes to the cemetery. Many pay their respects as the body is laid to rest, and the earth gives sweet repose. Verse 34, how then comfort ye me in vain, seeing in your answers there remaineth falsehood. So you're telling me, oh, this is what happens to wicked people, and this is this, and this is that, and this is this, and then Job is basically using that same logic to say, well, how do you explain those of them that do wickedness? And here it is, they're not held accountable for it. They go to the grave, what it would seem like in peace, while others are suffering. So how are you going to try to comfort me? And the things, the answers in which you're giving me, there's falsehood, right? Like, how do you address this? NLT, how can your empty cliches comfort me? All your explanations are lies. And that brings us to the end of the book of Job, the 21st chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Until next time, Shalom.